antenna up. Masked Rider is coming to town. Wow. Toy stores across America are rushing in the latest Masked Rider toys. Look for the action figures, and don't forget the amazing
Let's roll!
Talking Combat Chopper. Coming soon to a toy store near you.
We'll get that Masked Rider, or we're not the mutant marauders.
Woo! Masked Rider, them bugs sure got guts.
Bandai. Action, satisfaction.
Masked Rider, alien teenage superhero. In the battle to save Earth from the evil mutant marauders, he stands alone. But when things really get on top of him, he can transform into Masked Rider Super Gold, which will you use to save the world from the mutant marauders. Masked Rider and Masked Rider Super Gold. Action figures from Bandai.
I have a surprise for you.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. So, apologies for being behind the avatar. Hope everybody out there is doing well. It is crazy weather down here in Florida. It is hit or miss. They say it's going to rain. It usually doesn't rain, and they tell us it might pass. It rains like crazy, and your internet goes out for several hours. But we are up and running. I have faith that things will go well. I'm excited to talk hard. Hail to all of you out there. So, with that, let's say hail to this wonderful panel. My co-host, as always, Stone Cold Loki's in the house. Brother, what's going on?
I don't like being in the driver's seat, so I'm going to do that.
There we go. Ironcaster's in charge. I was talking to him backstage. We got to figure out how to get the upgrade on the old StreamYard to have multiple keys to the house, so we would all feel better if Ironcaster was in charge. So, we'll go back to Ironcaster. Ironcaster, brother, this is it. This is the creme de la creme of Ironcaster world. Is something that's Kamen Rider for you, my friend. Thanks for this. How was it knowing that you were watching this again and you were getting all of us to watch it with you?
Yeah, this was when I was kind of fortunate enough to go catch in the theaters when they did the nationwide release last year, and I remember coming out of the theater because this was all kind of at a time where I was feeling really disillusioned by a lot of the Marvel stuff, a lot of the superhero stuff. Is like there's really no reason to go watch an MCU film in theaters, or the MCU as they like to call it, and so. Just kind of by luck, I kind of stumbled into watching Kamen Rider. Like someone had asked me, like, "Oh, is this like Power Rangers for the role playing game?" I'm like, "I need to go check out the source material." I went down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, "Holy cow, this is good!" Wait, you tell me like they do 50 episodes of this a year, and Marvel can't do more than 8 of a show?
Yeah, if you love Power Rangers, Ultraman, Kamen Rider is for you, and there's tons of content. He turned me on to the 70s show, which is on Tubi. Mm-hmm. So over the course of the last couple of months, I've watched probably between 7 and 10 episodes. So I will say I actually got a lot of the references in this one. I felt a little more connected to the homage that I didn't feel as much with Ultraman. It definitely didn't feel with Godzilla. No offense to that one. I got to be honest, of the 3, it's probably my least favorite. I have so little desire to rewatch Shin Godzilla. However, Shin Ultraman, okay. This one seemed a lot more fun. So, I don't know. Let's see what Loki has to say. How about you, brother? What's going on, man?
Not much, man. It was crazy. It's a kind of crazy movie. It's one of those movies that you're like, oh, yeah, the Japanese definitely made this movie. And all the cinematography, there's some video game like scenes where you're like, man, I can totally see them doing this in a video game. Oh, listen to the music. It's very video game like. Oh, yeah. Look at how they're doing this. Wow. So, yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah. It was definitely unique.
Well, we had such a great time hanging out earlier this month. We thought, well, a man that loves Kaijune, let's have him back. Why not have him back?
I'll
Mike's
come
in
on
the house.
anytime you guys want.
OG is in the house, man. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I am good. How you guys doing? Thanks for inviting me again.
Oh man, we having a great time. We love talking hard on Tuesdays. Thankful to have you in. Had you seen Kamen Rider Shin Kamen Rider before this? And if
I'd watched it about a month ago when Ironcaster and I were talking about it, and then I just watched it again over the weekend because I knew we were talking about it today. So
cool. And what is some of your initial thoughts?
It's awesome. I would definitely agree it's the best of the three. It takes both advantage of the homage to the classic as well as using the best of the current technology. It's as goofy as Kamen Rider. You know, you feel like it's the start. You're like somewhere in the middle. What are you talking about? Who is this? Wait, why are you turning into a bug? But then you see the first Henshin scene with the motorcycle, and you're like, I will forgive anything else that happens in this movie because that scene is just so awesome. Yeah, it's great.
Some fun stuff for sure. All right, we'll be talking about it for sure. Chris Persia's in the house, running things from the Great White North, my friend, keeping that chat under control. We appreciate you, brother, for all you do. Hail to the triumvirate of talking hard. Hail, Pops, Loki, Ironcaster, and hail to the special guest, OGGM. That's right. Penny's here. Penny, what's going on, Penny? Hope you're doing well. I got to throw out those gifted memberships, so I appreciate YouTube letting us do that. Give people some early access to some Pops content because, yes, I'm just behind on getting them access, but usually it's the same day, if not a few hours ahead of time. But the goal will be able to have earlier and earlier access for folks. But yeah, thank you for that. Then went to Penny, Deborah Cohen, Dempsey, Morning Hayes, and Claude. So thank you for all of you. Pat S is here. Welcome, everyone. Share, like, and subscribe. That's it. That's right. Push those buttons. Click those bells. That's right.
It's Pat.
Yes, it's Pat's. It's DJ Ronnie G is in the house. He helped me hook me up with this. He gave me like all sorts of crazy versions of this film. So yeah, that's cool, super cool. Appreciate you, DJ Ronnie G, helping me. And thanks again for being here last week. There's Deborah. She's saying thank you. Yep. That's not a chopper. Not every motorcycle is a chopper. It looks like a standard factory built dirt bike with street tires. Just saying.
He's correct.
Yeah. You've
got dirt bikes and cafe racers and.
Yeah, they had all sorts of crazy stuff. Did you guys? Is there an English dub of this? Because I might not just subtitles. I didn't watch an English dub.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, no, I'm probably, but I've never seen it.
So some of the subtitles are like so goofy funny. I like had to pause. Like I don't even know how we're gonna find them, but there's a couple of just so crazy weird subtitles. So. I don't know what the Japanese perspective on this film is, but I got a feeling it's significantly different than ours.
I don't think this is a 1-to-1 translation, Pops.
No, there's some crazy stuff that's getting done. Thank you, Penny, throwing out those emojis, having fun with it. That's right. There we go. All right, Ironcaster, let's get into Shin Kamen Rider. You can drive, take us around however you want to. I don't even know what to say. I've watched this once, so I would not be the person to go too much other than telling you that I had fun. And that is a lost thing in Hollywood. So I'm more than happy to have the Japanese provide that for me. So appreciate it.
And I suppose that's kind of one of the big draws of this for this movie for me, because so much of the elements of this movie are kind of harkening back to the original series. There's a lot of familiar elements, like we got to fight. The first thing we gotta do is we gotta fight the Spider-Man. We gotta go fight the Batman. We gotta fight the Scorpion. It's like, are we fighting half of like the Marvel DC like villains roster?
I had to kind of keep checking like some notes to make sure I keep track of what was going on. I knew enough to kind of get the framework of things, but I will say this: they didn't bog us down with a long, drawn-out origin story. They kind of cut through stuff that had happened. And if you watch the show, I think it would make you happy. But if you're like me, who's kind of a noob or not a massive fan, I'm like, it was okay that it didn't take up a ton of time. Loki, how did you feel about that part?
Start was good. They, kick things off right in high gear. There are some parts in the movie that you're like, okay, come on. We get it. Humans, bugs, masked people that hide who they are and people that want to take their masks off and show you who they are. We get it. Come on, let's go. We want to see people's heads explode when they get kicked, and we want to see people, get their rib cage busted in when they get hit, and all that fun stuff. Let's get to the gore. Yeah.
Blood.
Well, Loki, the thing was, like, we get that 2 minutes in. We're 2 minutes in. He is like punching through people's heads. Like,
but they lose.
Cow.
But they stopped doing it, right, Mike? I mean, after like 20 or 30 minutes, I think Loki's right. We just stopped doing that. We stopped with like the watermelon deaths. I'm like, that's what I call them. I don't know their special effect they use, but I call them watermelon deaths. And like, we lost our watermelon deaths. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah. They definitely toned down the gore, but then they, as it goes from the early gore to the later weird, where you get like guys splitting themselves in half and so yeah, I didn't really have a trouble with the gore sort of petering away. I mean, if you want gore, you watch Kamen Rider Amazon or Black Sun. I had the start's perfect. It introduces this character, starts with an action scene, starts with the awesome henshin. The story is intermixed throughout the movie in just the right way, that it's never too distracting. And even if you don't know what's going on, you still get a general idea. So yeah, it's good. I mean, there's other than like Loki said, there's a few parts where it drags because it's Japanese, so they've got to have the talking. But yeah, and the villains are all great.
Hail to PJ is in the house. Hey brother, hope you're doing well. Great to see you here hanging with my friend. Yeah, I agree, Loki. It was 2 hours long, man. Did not need to be 2 hours long. This is another one, just same problem we had with the other two. It's like, don't know why they're like 90 to 100 minutes. It would have been so much more solid. And it almost kind of lends itself to, I mean, I know they're trying to combine probably 8 to 10. How many episodes do you think, Ironcaster? 8 to 10 episodes or more? It's a lot.
I've often heard cited the first like 13 episodes.
It's a lot.
That's particularly because this ties back to the original series where the main actor who's I think best known for playing Segata Sanshiro, he had gotten into a motorcycle accident and had unfortunately broken his leg, so they had to have another actor come in and take over. So it's effectively a retelling of that first little story arc up until that actor has to be replaced.
Okay. I think they could have trimmed a lot of that down, though, and even if they had a sequel in mind or whatever, it wouldn't have been the end of the world to see a sequel with like I don't know about you, Loki, like half of the number of creatures and things we had. I think we could have done with half.
Well, and some of it, I mean, okay, like there's a scene later in the movie where the girl goes outside and she's got like a hoodie on and she's like all bubbly, hee, and she opens her laptop and it's like, sun and wind, and she's on her laptop and it's got this Japanese bubbly score to it where you're like, okay, what the hell's going on? And you don't even find out for like an hour what any of that was about. By the time you do find out what it's about, you're getting the message anyway. So
I didn't need it.
Cut all that. Cut it all out. I understand it's got a payoff later, but you can give us the payoff without like, oh, well, why is she talking to her laptop?
I would also say like the AI. See, this is the stuff we like. Look at this. This is the action and the fun part that I liked. So give me more of this, Ironcaster. How do I get more of this?
Yep.
Well, that's how it goes. Like we only get maybe about 5 minutes of that great action per episode. So I think we gotta kind of build that up to about over the course of 2 hours we get 20 minutes.
Oh, it felt like more than that. What about you, Mike? It seemed like it was a lot more than 20 minutes.
If I string together all the fights,
all the action and stuff, it seemed like it was a lot more than that. A lot of motorcycle chasing, things like that.
If you're including the motorcycle chasing, it does feel like it's longer.
Yeah, but I think the lag times are so extreme. And I have to say, and maybe it's just me, guys, some of this stuff and then the AI stuff just did not connect for me. I was really pretty bored. I was like, okay. It's like
we got to the weird stuff towards the end. It just felt like,
Like, I like the Shocker Spider guy and stuff. Let's just keep going with all that. And it's like he has to have a second writer and he's going to pass the baton. And all right, cool.
I mean, ultimately, the thing that's going on is the AI is there to try and help help achieve happiness in people, and unfortunately, it's tied up with a bunch of cybernetically modified people whose idea of happiness is just killing tons and tons of people.
I'm happy when that happened.
Yeah, it's like Skynet gone wrong, right? It's just evil. You go back to the lady, the main actress. Well, she had a good run here with this movie, and then getting to be in Godzilla -1. That's a good run for her, huh? Man, she's got to be like, yeah, she's the main girl. She's the girlfriend from Godzilla -1.
Yep,
I'm right. Please tell me I
think
looked
so.
that up.
Without looking at her name, but I mean,
yeah. I was so thrilled. I thought she did fine. I mean, she's a very understated role in this. Like, she doesn't really have like meat on the bone or like some sort of major acting thing or anything like that. I think Godzilla was definitely stretching it a little bit more than this film. But hey, Scott Westbrook, thank you, man. $5 super.
Thank you,
Scott. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate that so much. Yeah. So I don't know what Loki. What did you think about like just the performance part? Because I thought that it seemed like they were asked to be just very dramatic in this movie. It was either uber cheeky, silly with reactions, but maybe like villainy type stuff. But it was mostly just dramatic soap opera type reactions.
Yeah, it kind of was. And I mean, some of it's okay, some of it's out of place. Like the thing where she's messing with her laptop. I hate to bring that up again, but some of it is, you've got like some good, just like, all right, let's go. And then you've got these weird scenes where they're like, oh, we'll let you go by yourself. And you go by yourself and put yourself in extreme danger without Masked Rider there to help you. Oh, by all means, just go. It's okay. Walk into the trap. It'll be fine. We'll just sit back and see what Kamen Rider's going to do. So.
Yeah, you can go talk with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I like the Batman scene. That actually made me laugh. This guy was about the guy who had to like really overperform. This guy had to like really overperform. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he was trying to do. He had to wear these crazy prosthetics. There's like weird visual effects scene with the actual wings. I gotta be honest, it could be goofy, silly, whatever. I actually watched this sequence twice. I had a laugh. It made me smile. It made me happy. And that's a lost thing, Mike. I'm sorry. Maybe that's wrong of me. I don't know. Are you going to judge me? Because I had fun, and that's what
I don't judge you.
Okay.
No, he was great. It's the classic, over-the-top, ridiculous Totsago villain. And
cool.
That is something you see a lot. It's a trope. There's always at least one who's just ridiculously happy and goofy and is evil. I love being evil. I love killing humans. You fell into my trap, and you're like, I can't take you seriously. You're too happy about this. Yeah, he was great. Yeah.
So Loki, I have to put him on the list of he's second of obscure Asian villains. He's second to the Ong Bak guy, who's like menacing and scary. The guy that uses like the microphone.
I will use 1 million. I will put 1 million pounds on blah blah blah. Yes, yeah.
So I don't know if we need like staff, because Pat asked for someone start making a list of obscure Asian villain lists. We'll do a whole video just on this. And right now, Ong Bak's guy is at the top of the list, and the Batman, literally Bat-Man guy, is number 2 on my list of just.
He's got a little bat on his lapel.
It's freaking great. It's so crazy weird. I want like a spinoff with just this guy somehow survived. They gave him like a new thing, and then the new Kamen Rider has to fight this guy in the sequel. And
one of the 3-episode spinoffs, which is just all characters.
All I can think about is how almost on the nose it is that we have this Batman making deadly bioweapon viruses.
Oh yeah, no, it seemed a little on the nose for Japan towards their neighbor, maybe. Sure. I think that the fun thing for me as well was the fact that all the other bugs and insects, right, Loki, have like helmets and stuff. This dude just mutated. They did whatever they're doing. It didn't work for the bat strain. It only works for the insects, because the bat people went wild. They just went crazy. So if the bat guy's just going to have a villain scheme to kill humans and make more bat people, I'm down for Kamen Rider 2. Totally good. Yeah. Rise of the Bat People.
Yeah. I keep my secret lair in a stadium.
Yeah, I know. It's just
where anybody could find me.
And the girl slowly raises the rifle to shoot him, like in slow motion, and he doesn't. He remotely change direction. Yeah, all right, there you
go. They're like, shoot him.
Eventually, Hideaki's here. Hey, dude, hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you, brother. Great to see you, Doc.
What's up, Doc?
It seemed. I don't know who wants to speak to this. I don't know what they had for the old school days versus now, but it seemed like the motorcycle stuff was fantastic. So between the stunts, between some of the special effects, they kind of mixed in some of the cheeky villain stuff as well, and then also like the gadgetry on a like super low budget. Like when the one jumped in front and turns, there's like the 3 exhaust things holding it back or whatever. Okay, I mean on a uber low budget, this stuff actually wasn't that bad, and I actually enjoyed some of the stunts and stuff. I thought were really pretty epic.
No,
if you notice through the 3 movies we watched, whether it was Shin Godzilla, whether it was what did we Ultraman, and Shin Masked Rider, Kamen Rider, the cinematography is like 9th level black belt compared to Hollywood's like brown belt.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you get somebody in Hollywood that's like, it has to be perfect and thought out. Ridley Scott used to do that back in the day. Now he doesn't give a shit about it. But these guys, it's like, wow, why did you think up this angle? They did an Ultraman where you've got like this downward camera up towards their face and they're standing there talking and it's going like around the room. You're like, when the hell did y'all come up with this view around this room where they're all talking? It's the exact same kind of camera work that's in this movie.
And the practical effects, right? Some of these cycle scenes have to be practically done, right? Ironcaster. I mean, they're enhanced with some visual effects, but I feel like they actually did all this stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, you got to remember, ultimately, this is basically an entire like. There's almost a little sub Hollywood to this, where there are people who like do this for a living, where they do these, the tokusatsu series, where it's like their careers is this is a guy who works for this company doing the Super Sentai stuff. So like a guy who's been doing this for the last 20-25 years, he knows how to go and shoot this stuff. You have whole teams that is their thing. They aren't like getting shopped around.
Kind of like Hollywood used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that too. Mike, what is your thoughts too? Because it seems like Loki's really hit the nail on the head here with like this, other than like, the Tarantinos who used to do it more, but they still do it some. M. Night Shyamalan used to do it a lot, and now he's become derivative of his own thing. But you start to get into a pretty short list with Hollywood. Like, it's pretty rare. These guys are doing all sorts of crazy camera angles and shots like that. Do you think it's mostly from the original stuff, or you think they're just like, they just have this creative, look at that craziness. Dude throw his motorcycle on top of Batman. Like, this is crazy, man. I was like, what's happening?
And then he takes those jets off it and he's shooting them straight down. So he's flying his jet up in the air to be able to jump up and like do that flying kick down. It's like, oh, this just looks cool.
Yes. Yes, I mean, some of this is shot for shot from the old stuff. And some of it is they can do it because the safety technology is improved. This is obviously the bike's on a gimbal and it's probably attached to a truck or something. And then you've got the superimposed over the bat. But that's, so fun, that's all some guy doing that role off of a, whatever, a pallet probably onto something below. So yeah, this is amazing. The cinematography, the stunt work, obviously, yeah, that scene right there.
It's just great. It's appropriate to have Zach. Zach, hail to you, brother. And yes, expecting more noodles in this Kamen. I get it. We get where you're coming from, brother. But look at that shot, Zach. Yeah,
classic Kamen Rider kick.
Look at this. This is insane. So I have to admit, I watched it twice. I think I said that, right? Loki, I had to wonder, maybe I'm the only one. You want a Batman figure and that Batman action figure? Because I'm thinking I'm not really into Kamen Rider, but if there is, I want this pose. Can we reenact this pose with like a clear base of some kind?
All these figures exist. Yeah, there's figures for all these somewhere.
Oh, this was great. What a great shot. How can he fly with the hole in his wing? Like, she blew a hole in his wing, but no, it doesn't matter. We need the plot says he flies, he flies.
And his tie is still fine.
Oh, the scarf never goes out of style.
You know,
scarf
he's midair, he's flying, tie is still okay, still tucked in the vest.
The scarf is like Indiana Jones's hat, right?
Yeah,
he
the
always
scarf.
had
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's not Kamen Rider without the scarf.
Yeah, it's like it's part of the racing culture in the 70s where it's like they gotta have the scarf like flap in the wind, so it just becomes such an iconic element of the costume.
And everyone wore black members only leather jackets.
It's like Loki with a beanie and Pops with his Dr. Pepper bottle. We got it. It has to be it's part of the brand. Got it. Is this the super crazy? There's so many super crazy chicks in this movie. I don't even know which ones are which. I got to be honest. It was like there are like 6 degrees of crazy women in this freaking movie, man. I actually lost track of which ones are which, other than like some of the costuming. But these ladies are messed up, man. Talk about crazy. Oof.
Yeah, she is definitely a Power Ranger reject. The mask and the little scorpion thing, and they had one of her in Power Rangers back in the day. I'm sure of it.
Scorpina.
Yeah.
Yeah, between her and Wasp and some of the other stuff, man, this was like a race to the crazy table.
And it was a little surprising that like they have her come in, they take the time to do all this, and Kamen Rider doesn't even fight her. Like, she's just sort of killed by our faceless like FBI agents.
These are the kind of ladies I always fear Ironcaster is going to find and meet. So I just be honest, he ends up at a show. He's meeting some other Kamen Rider actress who happens to be like the Wasp lady. And takes one look at this hot stud of a man. He goes, "You were on Talk Hard, aren't you?" And next thing you know, Wasp lady is one to like Hornet is one to like hook up with Ironcaster, and we're all like a little concerned about his health the next day. So yeah,
she's got him in the closet.
Look, if I can get with the Hornet chick, like don't rescue me.
Oh, well, I didn't say it was same day, but no. Mike, this went on a little long for me. What are your thoughts? That it just felt like a bad knock of a Tarantino film. What is happening? Like
again, like Ironcaster said in the beginning, you're shoehorning 13 episodes into 2 hours, and you're trying to follow up on 13 episodes worth of plots, which, hey, let's introduce this bug themed group of prostitutes, but then not go anywhere with that. Why is this subplot suddenly here?
Yeah, this was
other than to, have we got to have the crazy females because they, represent the sexuality and stuff like that, and the corruption, and they're always the characters that steal the show.
They'll suck the life out of a man.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, it's the
sexuality
of Japanese women.
She does.
Ironcaster. Wait, I don't know what to say, man. Look, this was what you were saying earlier, though. It's just way too much of it. It's just way too long. Way too much. We needed a much shorter version of this, and then it was very It was just such a letdown. Like the dude walks in and shoots her. I can take your bullet, and she shoots. Oh, it's got scorpion blood on it or whatever the freaking thing is. And I'm like, oh, come on, that was so non-climactic. You can't just shoot the broad. Like she was way cooler. I was so ticked off at that.
Cut out all of this and start there. So cut out everything, even the meeting they have with her inside the building, and just start right here.
Yes, 100% agree.
Probably another 10 minutes of our life we can trim from this movie.
I think it's tough to say, but this might be up there as one of my favorite fights from the film, just from the way this is shot. Because it's just such, everything is such it's like shortcuts where you're just seeing like almost a shutter effect of all the movement of the combat. It's moving so fast you can barely keep up with the action.
Oh, I just felt like it was just they don't have good stunt people for this sequence, so they did super cuts is what they did instead. But okay, I'll take it. And look at the cool lighting, though. I'll give them credit for that. They at least did something different and interesting with it.
No, just
that shot was freaking amazing. Yeah, this was cut. I I was like, how can this low budget Japanese guys pull this off and make this look good? And we could that Flash movie that they did, what was it? Freaking hundreds of millions of dollars, look like garbage compared to this. This was kind of fun and cool.
This is up there with like CW Flash. Yeah. So the movement and everything. I mean, I could see, CW did it with the Flash. If you were to watch the first couple of seasons, this is similar.
Definitely. Before it got bad.
I mean,
yes.
It's like the West has this idea that the only way you can show speed is by slowing everything down. Whereas this is a prolonged fight that's just like blinking, you're missing so much. Just as an example.
I loved it. I thought it was fun. It just took forever to get there. Like this all seems very dramatic for a fantasy action flick. Well, yeah, it's Japanese, Pat.
It's Japanese, yeah.
There's Pat, a lot of drama.
A lot of drama. I don't know what. Yeah, Japanese film. What do we say? Yeah. But yeah, no, I get it, and I don't know about Loki, but I felt like the entire time going, yeah, I can see why Ironcaster loved this movie. I sat there the whole time, like, yep.
Oh
yep,
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, as soon as I saw the head start to explode and the chest getting caved in and all that, I said, okay, now I get it. Now I get one of my brothers like, you got to see this movie.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine the sequel, Kamen Rider 2, Rise of the Shark People? Oh my gosh. Ironcaster is done. It's done. He's done. He doesn't need another movie in his life. He's just done. It's it.
Man.
You gotta throw something else in there because it's in Japan. It's got to have a longer title. So it's got to be like Shin Kamen Rider 2, Rise of the Shark People, and the Secret of the 10-Finger Death Blow, or whatever it is.
Yeah. The Secret of the Ooze.
Yes, throw in Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze is a good reference. My grandson's really into that movie, by the way. You can't get him to watch other Ninja Turtle movies, but he wants to watch Secret of the Ooze and some of the animated shows. So I don't know what to do with that, but that's where I'm at right now with him. But thanks for the Secret of the Ooze reference. Yeah, we end up with a lot of drama and pause, a lot of smiles from crazy women. Yeah.
And then she gets shot.
I know, so anticlimactic. Like, dude, what? Okay, now we're in a sequence I didn't care as much about, but yeah.
And again, we're in a holding pattern, and there it's like, oh, I'm gonna sit outside on my laptop in the setting sun and do what, lady? Oh, well, we'll pay you for that in about an hour. We'll pay that off and let you know. Oh, just let us know. You don't even got to do the setup because the setup's boring as shit and nobody understands what's going on.
That clip will be coming soon.
It becomes pretty obvious at this point. Oh, she's setting up for like the inevitable. I'm gonna be killed off, so this is my chance to give you like this little bit of motivation, Kamen Rider.
We didn't need any of this. I think they just had a forklift and they just wanted to stick something in the background. You just sit here and play on this computer. Cut. Next scene. I was so bored.
They just want to brag that they're OSHA certified.
Yeah, we paid for the forklift. We're gonna use it.
That's true. All right, keep moving, Ironcaster, because this was like we got like at least 10 or 15 minutes we can blow past, and this AI stuff and whatever. And I'm like, oh, geez,
Oh, by the way, she's apparently like part cyborg or something, so she can. That's how she can survive like all these falls and.
Well, I thought she was experimenting on too. Am I wrong with that? Yeah, she was experimenting on too. So it just happens to have some of these side effects. It just didn't take to her the same way it took to him. So I thought that's what that meant.
It's one of those things I feel like they could have probably done a better job to kind of get into and talk about, but it just unfortunately they only had 2 hours to fill this all in.
They clearly ran out of time.
Is she or is she not like controlling the computer with her eyeballs?
Yeah, I thought so. No?
That's what I thought.
Or at least she's connecting to the AI computer world that is in the helmet and all that. Like it's all some sort of like cerebral interactive neural connection of some kind.
Yes, that's what I thought.
I'm not going to pretend that I understood it or that it made any sense or it was even well explained in the film, but that was what I thought was happening. And then it was just cut to boring scene, jabber, jibber, jabber, chatty, chat. again, folks, if you're, I'm not trying to be totally hard on this film, but it's like we didn't need 2 hours of film. We needed like 90 to 100 minutes of this film, and this is some of the stuff we just didn't need. We needed like all this sequence. It's like if we keep it, we're gonna keep in like a third of it. It's only much.
Our mom died, and now I'm sad, and so I'm gonna like try to kill everyone.
And then we cut to these shots, though. There's so many wasted shots. It's just we don't need that shot. Don't need that shot. I don't know if it's because they're from these episodes. Like I said, you're taking 13 episodes. They're taking a piece of episode 11 and 12 and 13 and mashing them.
We gotta have exposition. We gotta have exposition. We gotta have backstory. We gotta have that third act exposition.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Then we get a second rider.
Where do you come from? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Meet Ichimonji.
I didn't mind the second rider. I felt like it kind of worked okay with the experimentation, and we got one, and he's brainwashed, and it's like they were okay. All right, that's fine. Him turning, like them being able to manipulate and turn him, was what got weird. But we're not there yet. But yeah, the chasing was great. Love this part. This was fun.
Yeah, always got to have a second rider, and the second rider's always got to be cooler than the first.
I swear they had to have filmed this where they filmed all the Power Ranger stuff, like the Angel Grove before it was Angel Grove, whatever it was in Japan.
Angel Grove is in Hawthorne Beach.
So,
well, I mean, that is one of the things though with this film was they did go back to some of those original locations from the 71 series that they were filmed at. So they were going as far as to like go to those original locations. You know, it would be like trying to make a Batman, a modern Batman movie, and having a cameo outside of the Adam West Batman cave.
Okay. I like the way they do it. Sometimes what they'll do, instead of doing that, what they do is a little Bat Cave Easter eggs. So they'll have like the giant coin or the dinosaur and things like that. So to me, it's kind of like in that same vein. I get it. Okay.
Of course, we gotta have our two heroes fighting.
I actually like this part too. I thought this was kind of funny, and I like the fact that they don't take it so seriously. Like they make a comment about, "Oh, we'll just keep jumping in the air so we don't hurt the civilians" or something. Like I don't understand, and that's where I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm confused. Is he bad or not bad?" And it's like, "Oh, he's just kind of brainwashed or whatever." So
yeah,
some of this they did a better job at this than they did at the Matrix. Matrix Reloaded or Final Round or whatever the hell that last movie was called. This looks better than that.
And definitely some of the Marvel ones have done it for sure.
Yep, always got to have a fight at the end, some industrial complex.
Mm-hmm. Although it is a bit of a refreshing take to not see them like blow up half of it while they have the superhero fight.
Well, I also have to be honest, it was so refreshing to just not have all this crazy, crappy CGI. It's like obviously there's shots, but they cut back to people that's just running through scaffolding in this factory, this location, and it felt like, oh man. And I think we talked about this so many times with so many movies. It's like, yes, we get there's just visual effects and some special effects and stuff like that, but it's something real too. So your brain connects to it.
Man, you see that leg break and you feel it.
Yeah, that looks like crazy.
Actual pain. And again, this is basically a callback to the original series where the original actor had broken his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that there's just like, we'll just do this effect the same way they did in the 70s, right? We'll just put his leg in the hole and just put this little prosthetic leg backwards. And it's just like, actually feels pretty intense though. Still kind of works. So yeah, 50 years later, I'm still down with this effect. It kind of got me.
Practical effects are always better.
TG Ronnie G, we're sorry, man. All right, hang on a second. Let's pause for a second. Hey, you out there. Leave Ronnie alone. He's watching Talk Hard.
Yeah.
Go get your phone and watch Talk Hard 2. What's wrong with you?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Ring that bell.
Yeah, so again, this was where I was like, wait, do we need all this? Like, it's just weird. It was just sort of like not exactly explaining he was brainwashed or kind of how he was brainwashed, whatever, but she's just able to fix it all. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Suddenly I'm a cyborg and I can do this. Why didn't you do this at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, I just kind of kept rolling with it. For Ironcaster's sake, I didn't let my brain get too down the rabbit hole. Just like, all right. We leave the guy with backwards leg just laying there. I was like, and he's just crying. What is happening? I was like, what is happening? Yes, I know. I had the same kind of shot too. If like literally like 2 seconds forward or back, he's got these weird eye look at it too. Like she's like, I'm like, what is happening with his face? But all right, whatever.
Well, she explains that when they brainwashed him, they took all his bad memories and like wiped him with euphoria. So when she unlocked all his memories, he was feeling all those memories again for the first time. So imagine like the first time you get your heart broken by a girl, or when your parents die, or when a sibling passes, or whatever. Yeah. You have to experience that all over again for the first time because they got rid of them all.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a way that does also kind of go into the sort of larger idea of Kamen Rider. But largely the mask, it has these big red eyes. And then it has these little kind of black teardrop shapes under the eyes. It's getting to this visual idea that he's a hero who has to go and do violence to save others, and he's having to sacrifice his own innocence to be able to do that.
I knew you were going to say that.
I will say I like the fact that he's in constant struggle about doing the violence, but there's not enough watermelon squishing in the last half of this film. I'm still going to hang on that. I wanted more. Shooting people randomly and whatever. And, this weird cloaked chameleon character that comes out of nowhere, who I'm not quite sure why the female, because clearly a female in the suit sounds like a dude, but okay. But I guess it's really a dude. I don't know. This one was like a brain scratcher for me.
He is the absolutely insane, really skinny dude. It's a Japanese trope. So you'll have like the really skinny, lanky, tall, crazy dude that, he ain't kind of like Joker, but yeah, that's how they usually portray them.
Yeah, that Wild West shot right there.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
exactly.
You did some Sergio playing right there. Shot through the boots, just like a Western.
Yep. Do you feel lucky, chameleon?
I'll tell them all. I'm half lizard, half, I don't know.
Do papo solo. Yes, Guido. I was just gonna go see your aunt. Tell the butterfly I've got the money.
Super duper mantis mask. Yes, some of the subtitles are insane.
Oh yeah, especially yeah.
Can you just hit play? You're on stills, right? You're not the film, right?
Oh no, yeah. I've got this is video. This is
okay.
paused.
So just play a little bit, and we'll just talk over it or whatever. But just the subtitles are crazy, folks. Like it's like these weird, like super duper mask, and just like it's like, yeah, you silly little grasshopper. I am sadly now.
I'm salty
now. Salty now. Yeah.
I love it when they get salty.
Man. What? Yes. Dang nabbit, you silly little grasshopper.
Yeah. You went full salty. Never go full salty.
Yeah. The classic. I've been holding back, but now I'm pissed off. Now I'm salty.
There's so many scenes that are like that where they have these like crazy don't translate into English. So yeah. I mean, I figured they'll copyright claim just about anything, but I thought just there's a couple moments like that where, yeah, with that mask, I'm glad I caught it. And I will say this director was pretty cruel because they had the other dude lay there with his leg on backwards, and he's in the background of the shots like constantly. And they have this shot of her laying on the ground like constantly. Like there's just so much. This director just left these people there for I don't know how long for these shoots. It is crazy how long. So
yeah, they kind of force you to almost forget about the fact that these two are, one was stabbed, one had their leg broken. They're just kind of tossed aside while we have this other hero here to go fight the villain. And you're like, wait, but what about the other two? Like, are we gonna get back to them? Like, what's going on? Like, we gotta save the girl, right?
I don't know. I could think of a movie other than like, I guess Psycho is probably the quintessential one that did it first, right? Where you took your star, and then you just had this major flip flop in the middle of the movie, and the story's going to be about two completely other people. So like, yeah, we're going to kill off the main lead lady. So Godzilla -1 actress is dead. And then you have this crisis of faith from the original Kamen Rider 1. She goes bubbles here. And then he's going to have a crisis of faith to hand it over to the new Kamen Rider 2.0. What's with the bubble thing, by the way? Can we talk about the bubble thing? Loki and I want to know. Yeah, there we go. We need the bubble thing explained to us. Like, what's to do with the bubble thing?
Reverting back to their biochemical starting point.
So what it looks like, though.
All right.
It looks like they're like a giant wet cotton ball.
No, it's totally like the Little Mermaid, like the original story, how they turn into sea foam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the problem I had is there's no setup of what they're made from or how they're engineered. I thought they were humans experimented on, and this implied like there's something else. So I just got totally confused over the sea foam weird bubble things that they just basically just dissolve. And it's like,
if you recall in the original show, whenever the villains or the grunts or anyone like died, they were like basically turned into an outlet of like the perler beads, like a string of those, and that would just like quickly pull away to show them like dissolving to nothing.
I guess I don't remember.
So this is just one of those many callbacks to the original show.
Mike, you want to take a stab at explaining the bubbles?
I think it's supposed to represent, that since they're all artificially created life forms, that when they die, they turn back into the goo that formed them. But like, as you said, how did we know this? Because there was no lead up. There was no introduction that, oh, by the way, when these artificially created proto-humans die, who have, for some reason, insect, they turn into the goo that we made them from.
If only they would have thought to have her explain that while she was on her laptop.
Well, the thing was, hang on, we did see that earlier in the movie. We saw the Spider-Man and the Batman turn into like the sea foam like this when they died.
But they seemed like they were more. They seemed like they were more experimental and stuff like that. With her, she was more human.
So why is she turning into goo too?
Yeah, I was just confused. I felt like I'm in a world where on this Earth, in this multiverse, the Kamen Rider multiverse, everyone is just made of bubbles. So when you die, dissolve into your bubble form, and that's it. Doesn't matter what you're, because I don't quite get everyone doing it. But hey, you know what? I'm along for the ride, though. I wasn't totally out of the movie or anything like that. I'm enjoying this way more than some of this other stuff that we've watched, just so we're completely clear on the ranking of things.
So it's better than Shark Side of the Moon.
Don't even. We're gonna put you in timeout if you keep bringing it up. You got a few more days till we're in July. You shouldn't even be allowed to bring it up until we're in July. For like a whole month, we can't say no. But during the rest of the year,
so she got to have her little like, I wanted to live long, but
this
is my big motivational speech to you to live on.
I'm not dead because I backed myself up in the Matrix.
I thought it was all very weak too. Like they just didn't. I thought they should have just made it black and white or come up with some other. I don't know. Just they could have just done something that would have made it at least a little more interesting. But it just took forever to get here, and it took forever to get through it. So, yeah, it's sappy filler location shots. Oh, just don't care.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, a lot of these location shots are well shot. So if nothing else, like they look good.
The cinematography looks great.
Shot. Yeah, with Loki on that too. Yeah, early on he was bringing it up, but cinematography is great. I will say the film doesn't have much of an identity though for cinematography because they just throw everything against the wall. So normally when if you did a big budget film like Avengers, you wouldn't have some of the type of angles and shots that they use. At the same time, they do artsy shots. They wouldn't use some of the action shots that they use. So the film is just the Japanese just throw everything against the wall, man. And I have to respect that because it actually works better than it doesn't work.
So we found out a little bit about Takeshi Hongo's father, how he was one who was always willing to sacrifice himself for others, and in his last minutes after he got attacked by some bank robber, was in his last breath like asking, "Is everyone okay? Did I save them?" Which is coming right back into play for him as he's now finishing this fight to finally put this whole shocker thing to rest.
Yeah, shocker. Ah.
All right, so I guess the director, this is his trope, because here they turn to Tang in that one. Here they turn to Bubbles. So here's the director trope.
Do they have a thing about showing dead bodies?
That's something the Japanese don't like to do.
Because of Shinto? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe that's why there's a stigma, a stigmatism about it. Who knows?
I have to give the actor credit for having this role and kind of a, I don't say a cheesy movie in some ways, but he is really all in on his dramatic journey. Like he's really trying his best, man, to pull all this off. He does a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, just beautiful cinematography, beautiful placing.
Got a scarf. We're good.
We gotta have that scarf shot.
Gotta have a scarf.
Oh, look at that! Lots of hoppers.
Yeah, like an army of hoppers. We get into the third act.
Different breed of locust.
I think it's because there were so many episodes we're trying to cram in. By the time I got to the third act, I was very fatigued. I was worn again, similar to what happened last time with this. By the time you get to the third act, you've worn me out trying to keep track of all your plot threads and weird characters and crazy villains and all the broads with issues. I'm just, what is happening now? I got a whole freaking army of grasshoppers. Where were they like 10 seconds ago? So yeah.
This sort of was. I feel like this was really the peak of the final act of the final act of the movie, where you get to see the Kamen Rider fighting these dozen or so evil hoppers. Mm-hmm. In one of like the coolest motorcycle fights I think I've seen on film in a long time.
Yeah, I like all that. That was great. Mike definitely enjoyed all this. This is definitely up your alley, bro. Yeah, this is
I'm a movie guy. Of course I love this stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, like, unfortunately, like, the stills aren't doing quite as much service, but the thought I had watching this was, I have a better indicator of what's going on in this dark battle than I did in Black Panther.
Yeah, because some of the shots when you watch, I think a better example for me would have been like the way I felt with, like, the live action Transformer movies, and how it got where they were just throwing so much stuff at the wall at the end there with some of these movies, where there's robots fighting, but I can't keep track. Like, usually it was just chaos. And I think with something like this, even though they would shoot in the dark and they would have all these different characters and things like that, they kept us pretty focused and grounded on what was actually happening.
Like, for example, right here they've got the Kamen Rider just pinned down with the motorcycle on top, and he's got an Uzi aimed at him, and it just have these shots of, like, the riders all riding around while he's shooting point blank at him, trying to break through his armor. Like, oh my gosh, how's he gonna get out of this? What was that?
You can let it play again for a second. You like that shot right there? There you go. Look at that. That's wicked, isn't it, Loki? That was wicked.
Oh yeah.
The spinning and the shooting, and yeah,
between a wheel like that.
Yeah, it's a great angle on it, where they're taking advantage of the natural shapes and curves of the motorcycle to really hone your vision in on just enough of the action to know exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, the guy has so many great ideas and creative things that he's trying to accomplish. I don't want to get too, I guess we have plenty of time still. I want to make sure I kind of give Ironcaster a chance to do a little lesson for us on what was from the original series and what wasn't. Maybe like try some of the direct homage shots, because some of those kind of shots were just freaking great.
Yes. The cinematography is just spot on.
Of course. Yeah. Now the other rider, who's had his mind kind of cleared of all the brainwashing, has decided he wants to come back and he wants to help fight and rescue him. Could return that favor. So we get a chance to see the two of them come together and fighting, which does work, because with the original series and sort of with the greater kind of Kamen Rider, I guess mythos. With these two are always so associated together that they're just kind of seen as like the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So seeing these two here fighting together is such a natural
progression
leading into the. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Kamen Rider, yeah. Primary writer, secondary writer, each has to have their story, each has to have their arc.
I love the fact that it was sort of an original Kamen Rider passing the torch to this other version with upgrades. Yeah, I like all that. I thought that was the crux of the story that we were having in our quote first movie. I thought that was fine. We just got bogged down with too many other villains and too many like meandering scenes and stuff like that. But the essence of it, I think, still comes through. This shot like this is great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think this was kind of my least favorite of the fights, of all things considered. It doesn't quite work for me. Like I liked a lot more of the more over the top action, seeing just the dozen or so of the evil Kamen Riders fighting against our heroes, with like these really really creative uses of light and dark, where you can kind of tell which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones, just purely based on the color choice of helmets.
I guess it's kind of an extension of what I said earlier about being fatigued. Like if I got to this point, I think like you said, everything was already superior. Like them jumping and fighting in the air was superior. Even the opening fight sequences were kind of more fun in some ways than all this at the end. And I'm just tired at this point. They wore me out. It just went too long.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that razzled dazzled.
Again, it bogs down in exposition, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's seconds that I would trim off, you know, because we want to just get to them teaming up and fighting against the weird bad guy.
Yep. When we know what's coming, we get the sacrifice, we get what's happening, we kind of understand how things are going to progress, and it's like, okay, just keep going. Let's go. Stop. Let's go.
So so his whole thing is he's a butterfly. He's kind of come out of his shell, and now he's completely beating them.
White scarf.
Yeah, we get the two brothers we get the brother and sister reuniting as they have that sort of as he gets plugged back into the Matrix and he turns into the bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I have no problem with it. It just took too long. Like this, by the time we got to the third act, like I said, they didn't razzle dazzle me. They're not the only movie that does this. Like, you know, you watch a movie and it'll be like, oh yeah, it peaks in the middle. It peaked in the second act and whatever, or the beginning of the third act. It's like,
with the bat.
Yeah, I mean the bat was great, but it was like there's just like you said earlier with some of the even the tunnel sequence. And like since then, it's like I just don't care as much. Like it's just I kind of knew what was coming. They projected all this happening, so I kind of like okay, I know what to expect. There wasn't another interesting element that kind of came out of the last act.
There are better ending fights in the history of the series than this one, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, and also the first writer Takeshi, he succumbed to his injuries, and unfortunately, he also passes here, but not without passing on. You know, basically his helmet and a chance to, for him to go continue that fight.
Yes. Go out there, 0-2.
Yep.
I don't know if I had said hey to Claude. Hopefully you're doing well, my friend.
Hi, Claude.
Thanks for being out there. I think I said hello to everybody. Make sure, because I haven't been paying close enough attention. I just thankfully on that final shot where we kind of get sort of like the big setup, the big payoff kind of thing. And again, I know this is like Ironcaster is excited time. Oh my god! Yeah.
I got the classic belt. I got the classic helmet.
Yeah.
And there it is, kind of like what I was talking about earlier with like the tears under the eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's got the AI guy in there now, like the other Kamen Riders with him. So I liked it. I thought it was good. It's fine. It's a good setup. I feel bad that I don't know if they're making more movies or they can figure that out or not, but it felt like it was, the word of advice is just, you don't need quite so much. Just pick 3 to 4 episodes to squeeze into your movie, shoot for an hour and a half to an hour and 45, and, just less is more kind of thing. We're good.
I mean, if there's a sequel to this, it's Black Sun, even, you know, because it does the same thing. Tries to retell the original story.
And I believe it's also available on Amazon Prime.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought this was a good shot to kind of basically end the movie on. I mean, yeah, he rides off on the bike, but this, I think, is sort of a good juxtaposition to what we saw earlier with Takeshi in the dark. Now here he is at the same spot in the light.
At the sunrise instead of the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the Japanese Board of Tourism appreciates. Yeah, this is a guy. I don't know where this, you know, this little fishing village that they found, but it's that they set most of it around. But yeah, it's gorgeous. And it really captures that, you know, the timelessness of, is this the Showa era? Is it now? So yeah, it was a perfect place to film it.
And yeah, so then it kind of ends with him just kind of riding off on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately Shin Kamen Rider. So, all in all, this I as much as I enjoy the movie, the second time watching through it this here, I did have some problems with it that I was really starting to pick up on. That, in a way, kind of made me kind of question a little bit of the high praise I gave it last year. For example, there was a couple of places where I thought we could have used some extra shots to kind of help set up going from one location to another. Like at one point, we're, you know, basically outside. We're in a totally different like location environment, entirely, and then suddenly we cut to the fights continuing, but now we're suddenly at like a warehouse somewhere.
Oh well, that happens all the time.
Yeah, just watch Power Rangers.
Yeah, just watch any. We start the fight one place, and then I kick you into a completely different place. Now usually it's a stone quarry because we can do the effects in the stone quarry and not get in trouble.
That's true. So this movie is getting, actually, as we speak, they're shooting some additional footage to turn this 2-hour movie into, I think, like a 5 or 6 episode series.
Yeah, I read that too.
No, don't do that.
So maybe it'll get a chance to kind of flesh out a little bit more of some of the talky talk. Who knows? Maybe
talky talk though. We want more,
but
less talky talk, more destruction and chaos and fighting and giant drop kicks and monsters and explosions, and we need more action, not more yapping.
But Loki, we might get more Batman.
Yeah, we need a total.
I'm down for more Batman.
Just him being over the top.
Yes. With a little bit of more money, Loki, we can get those ears to move a little bit too. I mean, I'm down with that, man. Let's do it. Let's go Kamen Rider, Rise of the Bat People, and the Revenge of the Wasp Lady or something like that. It's just, yeah, we're good.
Batman can run into the Bat Gremlin and they can have a Bat family.
It was crazy. This movie's nuts. So did you go around talking more about it or ranking, scoring, those kinds of things? Did you do any side-by-side visuals, Ironcaster? What did we do? What are we doing?
I hadn't brought up any shot by shot, shot for shot comparisons.
Yeah, we'll just do a couple. They're impressive. I have to be honest. I was very impressed. Oh, sunshine outside. I'm so happy. Relieved. I'll get rain.
Congratulations.
All right, I gotta try to find something real quick, and I might just have to pop over to YouTube just to show the side by side.
Okay, you do that. Okay, Mike, let's talk about the overall kind of like a score of the movie or lasting thoughts, those kinds of things.
Of the 3 Shins they've done so far, I'd say that's the best.
Okay.
But I do agree with almost 99.9% everything Loki said about the exposition, even understanding from the Japanese filmmaking point of view that how important the exposition is to that style of filmmaking. There was just too much exposition that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I said about the Ultraman one, where I get what they're trying to do is recreate the idea of, well, remember when they take several episodes and string them together to make a movie. Okay, I get what you're trying to do. It was the same feeling, that classic 70s, early 80s cheap way to make a movie. But they have the wherewithal to know that even though we're trying to recreate that gimmick, we could do better. We have better technology, we have better filming, we have better practices, we have better safety. We've learned from 50 some odd years of mistakes that we don't have to have those scenes where it feels like, did I just come into a completely different storyline? But the insect prostitutes are a perfect example. It's a whole separate arc that should have been like 6-10 episodes of just the wasp lady and the building up to the wasp lady, and then like you said, she dies to getting shot. There's no payoff. But if this was an actual series, that probably would have been a 10 episode arc, and maybe her own movie. So of the 3 Shins, it's great. Of all the Kamen Rider movies I've seen, there are better movies.
All right.
But it's a great introduction to the genre, which all 3 of these are. If you just want to dive headfirst deep into the deep end of the early tokusatsu and want to shut your brain off, these are a great way to introduce them to somebody. And then once they're a little curious, then you show them like, oh, now let's watch Geets. Now let's watch, 01. I had to throw in Geets for Ironcaster.
That's my favorite. It is my absolute favorite of the Kamen Rider series, and the fact that it's available like on Tubi, on YouTube.
I saw it on YouTube and on Amazon. I'm like, wow.
When you shared some of this, Ironcaster, this made me smile. I was really happy. This is like fan love that you love. You love somebody just being able to pull off their dream. Look at this is our stuff. This is our dream. Like, I'd love to see this shot. I'd love to see this. So like that's, you can feel the family come
in
through
the same
screen.
place.
Yeah, this is the same. This is the same dam. That's the same 2 little white towers behind it.
50 years later, yeah.
Yeah, some of the shots are really, really impressive. They went to the same locations and you pull some of that off, and yeah, it's good. It's great, and it gives you the fan service shit. I mean, was this element of it at least well received? I mean, I would assume so, right?
That's one of those issues where I'm not quite
it's the highest grossing of the 3.
Plus, actually, no. I think Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla did get all 3. I think all 3 did even get the worldwide release. But this one does hold the special place for me because I do still have my ticket stub for this one. And plus, this was sort of one of those first, in a way, kind of maybe not one of the first. But it was one of the early entries to this bigger franchise that I was kind of checking out as I was, starting to get away from a lot of the more Western superhero stuff, and I was trying to get outside of that box. And I think a lot of this was sort of kind of a lot of the great effects, just those great feeling, punches and kicks, the blood splatter, the heads popping like watermelons. It was so good. It felt so good watching.
You do so much with so little. Mm-hmm. And somewhere along the way, with all the tech, we've lost that simple ability of, Gonzo, Roger Corman, classic Japanese, filmmaking. We've got a weekend. We've got a park. Let's go.
I know, dude in his suit with the watermelon special effects, and all right, we'll shoot the camera down here so you get the wheel, shoot it up like this, shoot it through this, shoot it through. I mean, that was what filmmaking was. And now it's like, stand in this green room and we'll put something in there. Maybe you'll see it, maybe you don't. It's like, oh dear Lord, please. So
well, even like just the amount of bloodness, like I can't imagine like a modern superhero movie having any blood at all. Like it's so clean.
Well, let's wait
but
for,
this
let's
isn't
wait for Deadpool 3, but yeah.
This isn't your standard superhero movie, and this is a Japanese movie. Yep. Okay, you go back to any of the old school like anime stuff like that. You were talking about these guys that did all this stuff like Ninja Scroll and stuff like this. They come from the school of over-the-top, batshit crazy filmmaking. And Hideaki Anno, the guy who directed all the Shins, you can see his evolution in that. From Shin Godzilla, which it's got a couple of little crazy things in it with Godzilla and what's going on with Godzilla. But all in all, that is a government dealing with a crisis movie. Ultraman leans more into it. He is graduating from the school of over-the-top batshit filmmaking now. And he can go on to do all the over-the-top batshit crazy filmmaking that he ever wants to do after this because he's been successful at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as for myself on this, ultimately, I think I'm going to probably give it about trying to check my biases. This is a healthy 7.58.
I can see that.
I've got a few problems with it along the way, but I thoroughly enjoy this. The action is superb.
I agree. 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. They're not as high as I thought they'd be, Loki. I thought they'd both be higher.
Well, I'd give this about a 7.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, this is a solid, fun time.
It's better than Ultraman, and it's a lot better than Shin Godzilla. You know, I'm a Godzilla fan. I want Godzilla to win everything. We got Godzilla -1. I have every single Godzilla vinyl that has ever come out in that collection right there. I'm a Godzilla nut. And this is better than Shin Godzilla, which is arguably, some people love that shit. They're like, oh my Lord, learning how they deal with a catastrophe. And I'm like, it is boring. We want giant kaijus kicking the shit out of each other and clashing. We don't want, we must go to the government and ask them for 2 million yen so that we can put up a big sign that says, go home, Godzilla. And you're like, no, I don't need to know that. I don't want to know that. Just find some way to nuke it, destroy it, get rid of it, laser its head off. Oh, we will put Godzilla to sleep. We will use his radioactive energy against him and put him to sleep. No, you're putting us to sleep.
Gotta have the lightning tank. If there's no lightning tank, it's not a Godzilla movie.
So how would you score it? Where you come down on that? I think I'm
7. I'll give it a 7.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the best Shin movie that he made. Mm-hmm. And like I said, yes, he has graduated from the batshit crazy over the top school of filmmaking, which a lot of Japanese directors graduate from. It is a tradition in Japan. They give you a special like ceremonial letter opener that says batshit crazy filmmaking on it, and you go to work.
Yep. Yeah, I really 100% agree with your assessment too. This felt more rewatchable. It felt a lot more fun. It's bloated, so I'd be on the fast forward for my rewatch, but not to any major extreme. Like not nearly as bad as Ultraman, because Ultraman just kind of another board meeting, another conversation about funding. I'm just like, okay, let's go. So, and I can't imagine wanting to watch Shin Godzilla again. And I know I had somebody in the comments, I think, put in our comments about loving this and we were wrong and whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. Totally cool on you. Totally agree to disagree because Godzilla -1 is done so much better.
Yes.
The same concept. Yes. The same concepts are there and just done way better. Then with more PTSD and more, family trauma and stuff like that. But in this one, it's a shame they went for so many episodes. Like you said, 13? That's freaking crazy. Like if they had just tried to be a little less ambitious, trying to be a little more focused with less is more, this really, really could have been outstanding. This really, really could have been extraordinary. So for me, it's that super strong 6 into 7. Just can't imagine sitting through quite all of it, but it's still better than the other two, but not. It's been a fun time. I've enjoyed my Shin time. I have to be honest. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the rawness of the filmmaking, which I know is what Ironcaster was going for with me. He knew I would love the nerdiness of like the motorcycle shot, and it was like they had this nice pullback homage shot in Shin Godzilla, where always there with the smoke with this ridiculously long tail. Which I'm fine. It's like things like this is where I love what the guys are going for and what they were trying to do. So, yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch this movie again. So I've watched it twice. I watched it once the other night. I watched it once today. But right as I turned it on again today, Eris walks in and she's like, "You're watching this again?" I'm like, "Well, I like to do, the refresh thing." And she goes, "So it's not a completely batshit crazy movie?" I said, "Oh no, it is." And she goes, "Well, I'm gonna want to watch it, And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll watch it again with you." And she's like, "As long as you watch it again with me." I'm like, "Yeah, I will." And just, I want to refresh before we get there.
Well, then you should. Well, surprise, but I'm going to say that you should come check out some of the series, because there's so many like standalone series that each one of them is kind of their own fun thing. I can't recommend them enough. And like, plus, do you really want to go watch the Disney stuff? No,
we're not watching
that.
Have you all watched the samurai movies, the Akira Kurosawa?
Oh yeah.
I have not.
What? Oh my
God. Dude.
Well, maybe Loki can pick one out for us, and we'll squeeze that into our late July, early August phase. We'll just
if we watch a black and white Japanese film, we've got to watch Seven Samurai. That has to be number one on the list.
It's almost too easy. It's almost too easy. I almost felt like trying something. Yeah, but we can start with.
Well, if you want to watch Yojimbo, we could watch Yojimbo too.
Yeah,
Yojimbo's all the way up there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fistful of dollars.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love to talk about meanings? Oh, I know. It's my wife with her lists of lists. I get it. It's crazy, huh? Hidden Fortress. Yeah.
Hidden Fortress.
It pulled it all off. Like I said early on, I have seen the 70s Kamen Rider relatively recently enough to really kind of feel all of this. And I think that he did the right thing. He leveled up with the tech, with the homage. And I just felt like that fan love was there. Yeah, and he really delivered with this one. So.
He's done the three biggies of tokusatsu. I don't know if he could do anymore. It depends on the rights. I mean, what would be next? Metal Hero, Sentai,
Godzilla versus Power Rangers.
I want to see a sequel to Kamen Rider with the Bat Guy. I'm just obsessed. I can't help it. The villain is so crazy fun. Like we're gonna download. I'm gonna find a way to clip it and put it in and not get copyright struck. I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off. Yeah, I know. Seven Samurai is like a class. Like it's so good. It's just I don't even know what to say. So well, I guess so. We'll just throw it in. That's what we'll do.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mike, thank you again, my friend, for doing this. Plug a little bit of what's going on with you, my friend. What's coming up? Stream shows, when they can catch you. We'll put all the stuff in the description, of course. But plug away.
Anytime you want to invite me on to talk about movies, it's one of the few things I can talk about with some level of expertise, especially when you get to Power Rangers. But if you're not familiar with me, I do tabletop role-playing game stuff every Monday through Friday in the mornings. I cover all the tabletop role-playing game news and rumors and relatively other geek stuff. So if you're ever interested in that portion of the franchise and want to avoid all the ugliness and just have a silly look at what's going on in that world, come and check me out.
We gotta talk about old world fantasy, Warhammer old world fantasy.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, where is it? They released 2, and then now they're doing Age of Sigmar. Not that the Age of Sigmar stuff doesn't look amazing, but
they just started Old World.
Yeah,
and Old World is going to be 200 years before Warhammer Fantasy, or the end times, whatever you want to call it. But,
sorry, we're getting on a sub thing, but yeah,
no problem. Yeah,
because
what we do around here.
Yeah, I mean, they said at the start of the year it was going to be, Games Workshop. This was going to be our fantasy year, and it was going to be Old World, and we had like 2 from Old World, and then we're like, let's do New Age of Sigmar instead. Where's the rest of Old World?
Hey, where you go to a Warhammer store? Where's your Old World stuff? They're like, they point and it's a book.
Yeah,
and that's all there. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I do Games Workshop every Tuesday.
Cool. Very good.
Meanwhile, it's like we have to cover Wizards of the Coast almost every day because the news is just
insane. Yeah. Well, I'm planning on taking up Wizards of the Coast.
Wizard of the
Loki.
What? I do not recognize that company name or
Loki. Have you seen what they did to orcs?
No.
Yes.
No.
Have you seen what they did to dwarves? All the women are working the forge, and the guys are bringing them muffins.
No.
So the guys are bringing the women muffins. They're like baking and bringing the female dwarves muffins, and the female dwarves are like working the floor. And you're like
oven mitts.
Yeah, they're using oven mitts.
Open toe shoes.
Everything wrong with that picture, and I'm like, there's no way an oven mitt would survive that heat.
So now it's like it's
Her
with
hands
the
are on fire.
With the acolyte, it's like no, you think that's crazy. Hold my beer, and they went and tried to do
yes.
That's how I feel. So, Ironcaster, let's plug what the good stuff is that you were doing. You were working on.
Oh, I have the picture here for you, by the way.
Oh, dear Lord.
No.
Through this nonsense.
You're not going to show them the Hillary Clinton paladin?
No. I thought we would start with our open toe, like, gay dwarves with, like...
Oh, I didn't even notice they were wearing Birkenstocks. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And they have, like, matching beards with each other's beard.
Okay, I had some LGBTQ guys talk to me about that, and of all the things in that picture, that's the least weird.
So those are women dwarves with the hammer.
Yes.
Those are female dwarves with the
all
hammers.
All the women are doing the work, and all them except for that one guy. Well, and then there's the guy doing drugs. Nobody mentions this guy up here. The old guy with the needle.
Huh.
You're just like, nobody watch me, I'm shooting up. Or there's the fact that there's flammables in the wall. Everything is wrong with this picture.
It reminds me more of the Star Wars baking issue, the comic book where they did with this Star Wars baking. It was just like, what is happening? That and Geode. So, Chris has got us. He's got our links here. Here's OG link there. DJMIG hitting up that Loki Zardos. Way to go, Ronnie. That's how you do it, man. Yeah, great illustration.
Oh yeah, it's a good picture. It's just weird.
Yeah.
There's just so much weird shit going on in that picture.
Ironcaster brother, let's plug away.
I see something new.
So in about an hour, I'll be on a T-shirt for our little midweek and geek update because I'm sure there's more Wizards of the Coast news that we'll have to cover, like whatever they've announced with like whatever they decided is now something wrong with paladins or warlocks. So much bad stuff. I did get. Sorry, I had to put myself. I did get this in the mail, which I might open up and show off.
Ooh,
cool.
Final Fantasy 14 RPG starter set.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome,
man. That's great. That's good stuff. Mech stuff's going well. Love the mech stuff.
Fun. Yeah. No, that's been a lot of fun. Just kind of getting together with the boys and talk for about an hour or so about all kinds of more Kamen Rider stuff, more Super Sentai, Ultraman, Transformers, BattleTech, all that fun stuff.
That's I'm ready for Kamen Rider snacks.
Oh yeah. With like we're with like the candy making belt.
Yes.
Is T-shirt on Rumble or is it only on YouTube?
YouTube and I don't know if he's on Rumble. He's probably on Rumble.
I think he uses goats to power his internet connection, so he could be anywhere.
There you go. Goat power it is.
Here, I will. Oh yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Wednesday brings us to YouTube talk. Loki, what's the plan of attack?
Social media personalities. Considering everything that's going on right now with a certain former Twitch gamer and his recent statements, and then all of his buddies coming out going, "We are just so shocked and appalled." Pops, if you had something hanging over your head for 4 years that was public information, at some point I'm going to be like, "Hey, bro, what's up with this? Just me and you. What's going on?" Mm-hmm. And now they're like, "Oh, we had no idea. We've known it for so long." And it's all fake. This is all engagement, personality, BS, so that they can bring themselves engagement over what's going on and make themselves look like they had no idea what's going on. Mm. You don't say you're best buddies with somebody for over 4 years and then go, "I know nothing. I knew nothing. I never asked him." Sure you didn't. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't do this fake drops. I'm glad I don't really know much about what he's talking about. I feel good to know that I'm out of that. I'm just I don't plug into much of it. I just keep it such a nice high level, and his Wednesday talk is enough of that drama for me. I'm good. I got things to do. I have things to do. So yeah, working on tons of stuff right now. By the way, I had a great conversation with Arwen about Johnny Depp. It was 4 decades of Johnny Depp, by the way. It was the 40th anniversary of Johnny Depp movies. And it's like 4 decades of Depp makes your head kind of go. So we had a fun conversation. We only talked. Time goes by so fast, but it was a fun time. But no, man, I'm getting ready to take the old pop shot on the road. I'll be doing an event here in the next week or so. So I've been sitting around, pricing cards and pricing comic books and getting ready to take it to a show. So I'll be doing that. So yeah.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Of course.
You said 40 years of Johnny Depp. Did you all start with the TV or did you start with just his movies?
We mentioned 21 Jump Street. Neither one of us were really into it enough to kind of go down the rabbit hole with 21 Jump Street. We talked a little bit about, because I talked a little bit about knowing, Nick Cage actually kind of helped getting the job of getting Nightmare, right? So it's like there's little stories like that we kind of touch on. We drove through, spent probably too much time. She got me all wound up talking about Edward Scissorhands, and because it was filmed where I was. So yeah, we ended up having a great conversation. So that was kind of our fun thing. We were able to get out there. Been enjoying a fun week, getting interviews and conversations. So yeah, the next What's Your Story is actually up for members. It's his name is Lenny. He owns a company called Spineworks, where they clean and press comic books. They do grading services, pre-screens. Lenny's my guy. So I just, come on and talk with me. He was fantastic. He went down the rabbit hole talking about all sorts of things. And I've already had some good feedback from a couple people who didn't even really understand how any of that kind of works. So that felt pretty cool. And I'm going to do a video that will drop tomorrow about sort of like the hot list. And because it came up about like, did X-Men 97 actually get or any interest in comic books? Did it actually help anything or not? So a little video on a little bit of that, kind of where some of those things kind of lie. And then we got Roman of the Empire coming up for What's Your Story. I also have one coming up with Anime Night, who's been on here on the channel with us. Had a little talk with him as well. So yeah, kind of things going on. I have my Trek original series rewatch reactions. Those are always kind of fun because I'm quite the noob. For those of you who don't know, I'm at the Arena episode, which is the Gorn, which I knew a lot about the Gorn and of the Gorn and the fight with the Gorn, and yet I did not know or remember any of the elements of what was happening otherwise. So I enjoyed the experience of actually getting context to some series of random memories and clips that I have seen and gathered over the years, because I probably haven't watched the episode from start to finish since I was a child, so I just don't remember. So yeah, so that's also there on the old At Pops channel. So yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Mike, thank you, my friend, for coming and hanging out with us again. It's been cool, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you for having me.
We had such a fun time. It's always good. It's always good to hang out. Chat, you guys are amazing. Thank you for all you do, hanging out with us. It's just great. I don't know what to say, man. You guys make this so much fun. And yeah, Ironcaster, hi June. What a month. What a run.
Sure.
We shinned the heck out of this kaiju.
We shinned when we should have shined.
We have one more sort of kaiju movie coming up. It didn't really work with the scheduling, how this all plays. So War of the Gargantuas will be in 2 weeks. Jaws is next week.
Versus White
Jaws is next week. 4th of July week. Shark. It's the pinnacle. I know it's the 49th anniversary, not the 5th. We'll talk more Jaws again. And then we do the War of the Gargantuas, and then we do Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea comes up, and then on July 23rd will be the 100th Talk Hard episode. So
congratulations.
We'll get through our little pause, talk about how did we end up here. That's what will be our topic of discussion for
by accident.
A series of fortunate accidents is what that is.
Hey, dude, I'm just throwing pop stuff on Halo, and he's like, Loki, why don't you come up here and I'm not a Halo guy, and I'm like, okay, throw me a link, and I came on and we talked Halo, and that turned into.
We had a good time. So actually, our special guest has confirmed. I got to tell Ironcaster and tell you, look, our special guest seems only appropriate to have this person back with us. Ryan Roger Athay will be in the house for our 100th.
Oh, no.
So it seems appropriate. No. Ryan, who was he was filling a seat. He had internet connections and didn't stick it out. He didn't want to watch Halo. Couldn't watch. He's like, I'm not watching this dog crap. He bailed out. And it was like 100 episodes later. It's like, so I remember we were finishing up Halo, and I was like, well, I guess we should carry on. All right, we'll see what you guys think. And next thing you know, 100 episodes down. So, but guys, be blessed. Talk hard. Have fun out there. Don't let it get you down. Mike, thanks again to you, my brother. Appreciate all you're doing, hanging out with us. Folks, enjoy a little Dempsey music. Headed out the door.
All right, thank you.